time here. Hello and welcome back to Can You Survive? I am here at the Tribal Council area, and do not worry, folks, we have a plan A and a plan B for the audio situation. So we will get you your tea time come hell or high water. I'm just hoping that once you have a backup plan, you don't even need it. So we will see how that goes. If y'all will just let me know if you can hear me before we get things underway, so that way you can hear everything that our fabulous players are saying and hear all those insightful questions from host Cam. Let's see. I have no audio complaints, which is normally the dead giveaway, so I'm feeling like it's a good sign. Shall we call our players in, Cam?
Do it. All right. Goddard, come on in.
All right, in comes the Goddard tribe. And we have entering tribal council Gideon, Nick, Raul, Patch, and Kieran.
All right, Pat, you looked at me first, so I'm starting with you. How much different was this strategy session now being only original caribou versus the last one when there was potentially an easy target?
It's very different. I mean, they're both impactful and they both were emotional. Obviously we've been together a lot longer than we had been with Josh, but it didn't make it any easier in the last one. Now it's just about, unfortunately, we had to look within for this vote, and so that just opens up a lot of different conversations that weren't had before.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, hypothetically, you were all bought into, caribou strong on the last vote. For at least one of you, that was a very poor decision. So, I mean, how much of you was worried, hey, I accepted to go along with this 5, but I'm the bottom of this 5?
How much am I worried about that?
Yeah.
I feel okay, but you never know. It's when you get complacent is when you get got. So maybe now's my time.
Okay. Interesting. Raul, this tribal kind of reminds me of during the volunteers tribute phase, where you have a subset of the caribou tribe here, but there's still some caribous not at tribal with you. How much of the decision you're making here today is impacted by trying to make sure you're still balancing the relationships you have with the rest of caribou or the rest of the game?
Even though this tribal is 5 and that one was 5, I mean, 3 of us here were at that tribal council. This one feels very different. That was our first time kind of getting a sense of, the game. And whereas now we've been deep into the game, all of us have blood on our hands, and the relationships are a lot deeper now. So I think this one is just gonna hit harder than last time.
That's the blood on your hands.
Oh yeah, the berry dude.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you bring up, Rebel, that 3 of you were at that last tribal council. Karen, is that something that was weighing on your mind, knowing that the 3 of them have had an extra vote to kind of build even a little bit of extra trust, potentially putting you and Patch on the outside looking in on something?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a mild concern, but honestly, I think like something that's been kind of cool about this game is that we've been mixed up. Like we started the game all as one. We all kind of got to know each other. The tribes have been mixing. I think it's kind of just like one big group of people at this point, where previous tribals and all that for me are kind of secondary to what's going on now.
Yeah. Gideon, is there any thoughts going on in terms of how you're strategizing about, I want to eliminate this person before they get to the merge because they would be too big of a threat there?
Yeah, I would say so. This time's analogy is like stacking hay. And we do at Waffle House, and we have to have a foundation. And sometimes you got to take that bad hay bale out because it's just too wet. It's keeping all the rest of them bowing. So
Interesting. Love the analogy. You give me a lot to work with. Does anyone feel like they're getting the impression that they might be the bad hay bale? No one wants to raise a hand. I do want to call back to you, Nick. I mean, you said you felt pretty confident at this tribal council. That is a really rare thing to say to tribal council, especially one in such a small group as this.
I said I felt okay.
I
There's a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that alarm you, Pat, at all that someone is sitting here out of a group of 5 feeling okay and said in a pretty confident manner? Or are you also feeling okay?
I'm just always confident. That could also be taken into
Okay.
I'm like the opposite. I'm not. So I'm not ever feeling okay. So I'm not surprised because I know his personality and I feel like that is the exact answer he would give no matter what. So
Aaron, talk to me about the strategy session you just had. Did it bounce around from name to name where, maybe all 5 names were talked about, or was it really kind of focused around, 1 or 2 names at a given point?
think just because we're 5 people, like all 5 names were brought up. I think we had to consider each option and each pair that went to go strategize. So I think it was kind of a fair discussion for all 5 of our names.
And in those discussions, are you kind of pitching, the pros and cons of keeping you in the game at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not great at challenges. Keep me around. I'm not gonna win any more challenges. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Raul, how much of, the fallout do you think there will be from this vote? This is kind of, the first time that you will kind of draw a hard line in the sand in this group here for Goddard.
I mean, I think no matter who goes home today, there would be fallout in some capacity. We're always looking to minimize fallout because we do want to have that option as our tribe going forward. But there is a balance of tribe and, there were, inklings and conversations about the idea of this game getting individual. So it's a little bit of tribe mentality and a little bit about like what's going to set, you or us in that individual portion of the game as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really interesting thing to balance Gideon, right? Is because you have to get there for it to be individual. So you still have to hope that you're building a strong enough core here. So how do you kind of balance those two conflicting ideas as you're thinking of who to vote out?
Yeah, just weighing the pros and cons really and figuring out what would be contributed later on, 5 steps ahead, maybe 2 or 3 days later, hopefully just 2. But yeah, simple enough. Same thing, balancing hay.
All right. I'm excited to see who that rotten hay bale might be. Unless any of you have anything else to add to the discussion, I think I'm ready to get to the vote. All right, sounds good. Nick, we'll have you start.
All right, y'all, let's head on over to tea time. All right, so I owe you last tribal's tea time, as well as this tribal. So good news, instead of a cup of tea, you're getting a full teapot this time. So I will be going all the way back to 2 tribals ago where Goddard came first, and then we will get into this. So yeah, let's do it. All right, so I'm excited. So this is gonna be a lot, but we're gonna get it done quick. And I've already been approved to give you guys all the tea and not be pulled away before you have everything. So I'm super excited. So, all right. Okay, that is this round. This is the last one. All right, so let us go back in time together. Pour your first cup of tea. We're gonna be here for a little bit. And for like the 5th time, I'm just going to start my spiel over again. I think this is the only thing you heard like 2 tribals ago. So to recap, Sean, okay, so Sean was voted out at this last Goddard tribal, and it was like a 5 OG Caribou, 1 OG Goddard, which was Sean. And so like you saw the vote, it was unanimous against Sean, and so it seems like, oh, like this was a nothing round. It was anything but nothing. So let's give you the context for how that all came about and everyone's thought process behind it. So all right, let's start with Raul. He's tight with, as of last tribal, he was tight with Nick and Gideon. And he was sad about Sean being the target because he was his district partner, but he wasn't going to bend over backwards to save him. And let's see, Nick. So Nick, also of the Raul Nick Gideon 3, made like a kind of like a Final Four alliance with Nick, Raul, Gideon, and Aldrian. However, he thinks that's kind of like a fake one. He thinks like no one's really actually buying into it. And he's not either, because his true final three alliance is Patch and Aldrian. So if he had to say, he would be going to the end with Patch and Aldrian. He thinks Patch is playing a very clever game. And as we know from like the only other tribal he's been to, he appreciates strategists and like being able to bounce ideas and talk each other out. So I think Nick feels like himself, Patch and Aldrian are a really good strategic three. He also on this tribe feels like Kieran is a number for him, and feels good with her, but that's kind of like a solo, deal. So he has that. He also still has an idol. So I know he was talking at this tribal about like, oh, you never know, I could get got. So if he feels weird, he could play his idol. He still has it. Moving on to Gideon, the third in that three. Gideon also is into the whole like Nick and Raoul idea for now, but he feels like he has better connections on the other tribe in Phil, Kelly, and Geraldine. So it sounds like both Nick and Gideon are like, oh yeah, totally, but they're secretly to each other like, thinking of not doing that forever. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. So Gideon knew the plan. Also, Gideon knew the plan with Sean, and was debating tossing a stray vote on Kieran, last tribal because he was worried about Sean having, like some sort of advantage or idol. So he was like, should I, shouldn't I? Put a pin in that. We'll be back. So Patch, let's see. Let's go to Patch. So here's Gideon. Let's see. We're getting there, y'all. Um, hmm. Okay. Okay, here we go. So Patch. So Patch is feeling really good overall in the game with Kelly, Aldrian, and Nick. If you'll remember, night one, Nick and Patch found an idol together along with Finelli. Well, guess what, y'all? Patch has now found an idol of his own, and he has decided to keep his lips sealed. So he will not be telling anyone about it at all. And he definitely won't be telling Nick or Aldrian about it because despite feeling super good in the game with Kelly, Aldrian, and Nick, he saw Nick and Aldrian, like go walk off alone and by themselves. And so now he's a little worried about his longevity in that three. He thinks maybe he's the third of that three. So what he actually wants to do is a final two with Kelly. And oh my God, was it? Oh my God, this was crazy. So he planned with Leo yesterday to target Nick along with Raoul and Kieran. But Leo apparently spilled the beans to his whole tribe, including Sean. So he was worried at the time that Sean would like use that as ammo to like try and stay in the game. And Sean used basically everything that he could as ammo. He he, as we heard in that tribal, he regretted the fire making and like realized after the fact, like, oh no, I've not set myself up. He was like, oh, maybe I can get Kieran and pull Patch in because Patch and himself were both mutually close to Leo, but he pitched that and got he like he pitched like pulling them and voting Nick to Patch, who was considering that as a plan, but then got weird vibes from Patch when he pitched it. He also pitched Nick, hey, use me as a meat shield, which he thought maybe was considering, but he did not. And let's see, to Kieran, who y'all have heard literally nothing about because she's only been to one other tribal council. Get ready. So as of night one, oh Jesus. All right. All right, as of night. May I trouble you to just hold this steady? Just this part steady. Thank you. All right, cool. I told y'all that we had lots of backup plans. Thank you. So no, we're not gonna miss the vote out. Do not worry. Cam let me know that I could just go ahead and do last tea time and this tea time, both at this tribal, and then he would wait for me to read the vote. So we are all good. You're not going to miss a thing. So let's see. So as of night one, Kieran really liked Aldrian and Nick and Sean and Jess and saw Champagne as a winner pick and was like, ooh, I want Champagne to take me to the end. Kieran ended up yesterday being blindsided by the Aubrey vote because there was a final three made yesterday of Nick, Aubrey, and Kieran. And so at the tribal where Aubrey went, she was convinced that Aldrian would go. But obviously, Aldrian did not go because she's still in the game. Aubrey was voted out. And so then she was like, whoa, this is a red flag. Perhaps me and Nick are not as tight as I thought because I didn't know that was going to be happening. She came into last tribal prepared to work with Patch and Sean to go against Nick and Raul and was prepared to go to rocks with Patch and Sean. But then it didn't end up, they got weird and it didn't end up panning out. So she was just like, all right, never mind, whatever. So that is, I like, and again, Sean went home, but like all of this crazy stuff was considered and happening. So now the stage is set for this tribal. So at this tribal, let's go to Gideon. So Gideon, I told you to put a pin in this, pour your second cup of tea. Gideon did not end up throwing a throwaway vote at Kieran last tribal, like he said that he would. So now Raul is sus of him. So they were, remember, in that Nick, Gideon, Raul three, but now Raul's like, I don't know. Speaking of that three, they agreed to throw each other's names out to the other members of their tribe, like just lightly, but just to try and hide the alliance, not to like push any agenda or do anything. So Gideon is pushing Patch as the first choice and Kieran as his second choice, this tribal, but he did okay, sorry. Yeah, so that is like what Gideon wants to do. Now, this plan of voting each other or throwing each other's names out came into play almost immediately because Raul fake pitched Nick to Kieran, but Kieran said no because Kieran feels the closest to Nick at this tribal. She would prefer to target Gideon because she is a challenge or he is a challenge threat, and in the individual game that she is looking towards, that is scary. So she's like, "Hey, this is a great time to do that." Let's see. Let's go to. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right. Let's talk to Raul. So Raul's actual plan, because the fake plan was Nick, his actual plan is to target Kieran because he wants Nick to stay with him and give him one less option in Kieran. So he knows that Nick and Kieran are actually tight, and he's like, if I leave Kieran, Nick's got to kind of stay with me. Raul also really loves Patch, and Raul's a little worried that the Nick Gideon Raul alliance is too obvious, but he's not that worried about it at this juncture. So Nick feels like the swing vote here because if you've been keeping up, there's a lot of names thrown out and there's about to be more. So according to Nick, he feels good as a trio with Raul and Gideon, but not like as an individual relationship situation. He also feels good with Kieran and he feels great with Patch because he's playing so well and smart, but a little worried that he might be picked off later by Patch. So Nick has been told, okay, Kieran is wanting Gideon out. Gideon is wanting either Kieran or Patch out. Raul is wanting Kieran out, and Patch is wanting Gideon out. So right now he's feeling like he gets to choose his own adventure between Gideon and Kieran, and we will see what happens. Meanwhile, Patch, weird thing happened with Patch. Gideon told him it's between Patch and Kieran right as this was happening, and then came back and was like, never mind, maybe Raul and Kieran. So now Patch is a little worried, and he would like to pull in Kieran and Raul to target Gideon. So yeah, it's all over the place. Let's go see what happens. Again, I feel like this is going to form some sort of line in the sand. Okay, so my gimbal's being crazy, but that's fine. We'll just take it off of this and hold it ourselves, and it'll be okay. All right. Let's see, how can I do this? Okay. All right, team, let's go.
Right. Thank you. We will now get to the vote. If anybody here has a hidden immunity idol or another advantage and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. All right, I'll get to the votes. First vote, Kieran. Second vote, Gideon. Third vote, Gideon. Fourth vote, and the next person voted out of Can You Survive District 13, Gideon. That's 3, that's enough. Gideon, the tributes have spoken. Thank you. All right, Goddard. Hopefully that was the right hay bale to remove from the game. I'm going to have you all head on out. We'll have you head back to a camp while we do the next tribal council. Then we'll get back to you, okay?
Thank you. All right, y'all, just gonna fix a few tech issues as the next tribe comes on in. So I'm just gonna mute, but don't worry, I'll be back.
Did someone message?
All right, y'all, we are back.
No, the other one.
Oh, for them to come.
And we are
Not now.
just a few seconds away from our second tribal council. We are gonna just keep it rolling and go back to back. So right now we are waiting on the Dun tribe. You've seen them quite a bit today.
Yeah. Well, there's no side of it. No, yeah. Well, I think, you know, obviously, circumstances not the best, but if we can get them, that's a fight. So he's, you know, play for Johnson.
All right, while we wait, let's go check out this sign. And let's look at this beautiful archway where coins were hidden earlier. I don't know if they're still there though, but they might be.
All right, come on in, Done. We did.
All right, and in comes Jess, Lindsay, and Champagne.
All right. welcome back. I'm sure you all are sick of talking to me, but that's the name of the game here. Champagne, I'll start with you. It's seemingly every tribal you feel like you're getting targeted. Did you feel that way once you lost that challenge and ended up in this group of 3 heading back to tribal council?
I always feel targeted. Like every tribal council I've been targeted. So, but it was different. It was just different because us 3 are just like super, super close. So
Yeah.
we didn't want to vote out any of us.
I mean, yeah, I imagine
this would
at
be
this
my
point-
final 3. So
At this point, you're so bonded. Are you going to the other 2 and making a really strong case why it should be one or 2 of the other, or is it past that point for the 3 of you?
I'm not like I didn't go to Lindsay and talk shit about Jess or you know what I mean. It was just kind of like stating why I would be more of an asset in the future. But I don't think any of us really were advocating against each other, just advocating for ourselves.
Yeah, and Jess, I mean, it's very easy in a group of 3 for one mind to be swayed, and all of a sudden, even if you felt confident, you're the one heading home. So I imagine you spent a lot of time advocating for why you would be important to have with the other 2 or whomever survives from here into the next phase of the game. So what kind of was your pitch during that strategy session?
I have to be honest, I'm the swing vote here, I think.
Okay.
And
In
so
what way? Talk to me about that.
I think they're gonna write each other's names down.
Okay.
And so it's up to me.
All right.
And so it was more about, hearing them out, I think. So I didn't really do much pitching, honestly.
Okay. Is there, Lindsay, I mean, if it was semi-public that, Jess was a swing vote, was there even an inkling or a possibility that you and Champagne become a 2-person majority here?
What's interesting about a 3-person tribal and 3-person strategy is I probably have a different take on the situation. So I actually didn't come into this thinking that there was one swing vote. Because I've been told pretty clearly that it's could be Jess. And so I don't think any of us like feel the word confidence. And I don't know if it's as clear as we're all feeling because how are we to tell with just 3 of us?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's every pairing of 2 is going to be telling you the other person, right? So it's hard to know which one is true and which one is false. Champagne, how do you go about picking which is the ideal pair of 2 for you to move forward? Like, what are you looking for in that other person if you were to survive this tribal?
This is a hard question because we've been together this whole time. So it's like, I wasn't saying like, oh, pick me over, Jess, pick me over Lindsay. I was just advocating for why I would be an asset in the future.
Yeah, and why would you be an asset in the future?
Oh boy. I think regardless, I'm always going to be a target. So, either one of these 2, if I go back with them, I think we would fly under the radar a little bit. They would see us as a pair. I think going forward, I think the big dogs or the guys are going to start going after each other. I think we would literally. I think we would whoever they come back with, I think we would fly under the radar, but I kind of said to both of them, if they see us, they see me and Jess as a pair or me and Lindsay as a pair, I'm always going to be the one targeted. So I can be a little bit of a shield. And yeah, I think I might have a couple ins with some of the other people, but you never know because they're out there forming their own bonds. So I feel like I can make connections with people pretty easily, but it's also they have prior connections as well. So I think regardless, whoever the 2 that go back, I think that whoever the 2 are, I think that they could go far.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point. I mean, how much as a group of 3, did you talk about the potential path forward for whoever survives, Jess? I mean, did you guys talk about the plan? Okay, we're coming back with 2 and we're doing X, Y, and Z once we regroup with anyone. Is that kind of already planned out?
100%. As soon as we get back with Original Goddard, I'm really excited to see where their connections lie. And I think that the second part of this game is going to be about getting the big threats out. And I think that whichever 2 of us return will be a really useful couple of votes to
be used as an asset for Caribou members who are finally ready to start playing the game.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I mean, I know it's been a long day for a long 2 days for the three of you. So
Can I just say
you wanna end, Lindsay? Yeah.
I just love and respect you guys too much
Yeah.
to not be transparent. I'm just gonna be transparent with I will be voting Champagne.
Okay.
I just
That's
want
okay.
to be transparent because I love and respect you too much too.
Yeah. That's okay. That's
I
fine.
love you.
No, I love you too. I didn't mean that in like a bad way.
I
No,
know.
yeah.
Okay.
It was gonna be hard regardless of whoever it was.
All right. Everyone feel good? All right. We will get to the vote. We'll start with you, Jess.
All right, let's head away for another tea time. All right, so I've got tea to fill you in. I know there's only 3 people there. However, there's like some really interesting insight about what people are thinking for the next stage of the game, so I'm excited to share it with you. So, okay. All right, so this morning, Lindsay made a final 2 to the end with Jess, and they said to each other, we're going to be the last 2 no matter what. And they kind of were just like, okay, and it is what it is. And like, that's that. So they didn't talk a ton of strategy after last round because Lindsay was like, this is already decided, like, we're good. Champagne approached Jess and pitched Lindsay, and it was very interesting. Champagne you have got to, okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, so very interesting. She was like, hey, I imagine the other half of that was like, oh, but if I go, I'll give all 6 to Lindsay. If Jess is, doesn't do that, we'll find out because I believe Champagne is going. So, let's see. So Jess, let's see. So, Champagne also told Jess that she will not write her name down. And but Jess wants to team up with Lindsay come the merge to target the quote macho men. So it seems like that final 2 they made this morning is ringing true. And one thing of note at this last challenge, Jess got the chance to talk to Leo and apologize about the Kelly vote since Kelly was Leo's district partner. And Leo said, that's your game. I still trust you 100%. Don't even worry about it. So Jess really looking towards the next stage of the game, setting herself up for success with a strategic partner in Lindsay, with a trustworthy ally in Leo that has no bad blood. And she's also really excited to get back to Aldrian and Cod and Reday. So let's see, unless anything crazy happens, I think it's Champagne because Jess and Lindsay were like, we're making it out of this no matter what. They were like, we're lasting this tribal and we're lasting the day. And we're lasting till the F2. So we'll see what happens. All right, heading on back into the tribal council area now. Cam coming back with the votes. Wow, we're so timely this time. Love it.
All right. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol or another advantage and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so.
No, not this time.
All right, I'll get to the vote. First vote, Champagne. Second vote, Lindsay. Third vote, the 12th person voted out of Can You Survive District 13, Champagne. That's 2, that's enough. Grab a torch.
Oh.
All right. Champagne. The tributes have spoken. All right. Done is down to 2. We'll have you head on out.
Another try.
We'll meet you.
See you soon, I guess.
We'll meet you soon, I'm sure. How long?
All right, y'all.
Amps.
All right, y'all. So I believe the plan now is for us to break for dinner, and then come back to something fun that you will want to be around for, I promise you. So we're gonna break for dinner. Y'all get hydrated. You nourish yourself too. And if you're in the viewers lounge, Alex will go ahead and let you know what time we're thinking we're gonna go live. So thank you for joining us all day long, and we'll see you at some point, not so soon, but like not so far.